Bum 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 bum. Welcome to Back to the Future Trading.com's weekly webinar review. My name is Michael Leidick. I am the founding partner and president at Back to the Future Trading, and it is my honor to be here today with you and share what I've learned over the last 12 years investigating, researching, and training traders like yourself to harness the power of predictive indicators. Just want to start off this morning, this afternoon, this evening, wherever you're at, welcoming you here today. Thank you for coming. Recognize some old faces here today, maybe not old in age, just been a customer for a while. Quick shout out to Ray and Steve. Steve, you still have the most difficult last name to pronounce. It is definitely a respect commanding last name, though. It's good to see you, Mr. Barbathoss. Rich, welcome. Mark, Jason, Barat, good to see you again. Ian, how are you, Professor? Professor of Cinematography, Master of the Pan Shot, the Ian Stevenson's director's cut of Justice League was the best one that I've seen so far. If you get a chance to watch that, it's way better than Zack Snyder's. Hey, Bill. Ukulele. It's a pleasure to have all of you here today. Always go director's cut. Always, always, always go director's cut. I'm going to show you something here as we get started. And then in a second, if you're new to the webinar series, I'm just going to ask for a little bit of help from you in terms of identifying, if you are new, what markets you're interested in examining with me here today. If you're here today and you're new, in a moment, I'm going to ask you what market you trade and what time frames, what size bars you trade it. So Lionel, for example, if you trade the Euro US dollar on an hourly chart, I'm going to ask you for that information. I'll ask each of you, if you wouldn't mind just kind of helping me understand, if you're new here today, what markets we should be focused on. Much of what I do is based on the premise that markets are not random. And one of the first people to sort of espouse the power of the non-random market, he's quite literally one of my idols, if not my idol. And I must have shown this slide, Brian, 100,000 times by now. I feel like William Delbert, WD Gann, was one of the most prolific market analysts who was simultaneously least understood, least accepted. Because what Gann espoused, what he taught, what he shouted from the rooftops was hard. It was hard to acknowledge or understand. It was harder to teach, because if you didn't have a computer, if you didn't have the mind that he had developed, poring over thousands of stock pages and historical documents from libraries, you really couldn't get it. You really couldn't understand what he knew. So there was this gap. But most of what he taught survived the chasm of time. In fact, there were other people that Gann studied alongside of. These are some people who were contemporaries in Gann's lifetime. If we kind of scoot back one chart, you'll see Gann lived from 1878 to 1955. And in that same era, we have Einstein born 1 year later, 1879 to 1955, and Nikola Tesla, 1856 to 1943. So he kind of is born before and dies shortly before Gann. And what's fascinating to me about this time is that these men produced ideas that outlived them. Meaning, if we go back and look at Nikola, we see that he was the inventor of the radio. He predicted that pictures could be transmitted wirelessly. He predicted that we could transmit electricity through the air, and was bankrupted as a result of his philanthropic ideals. He wanted everyone in the world to have access to the energy of the ionosphere. And I think he was a man before his time, but history bears out his theories. Everything he said, from the invention of alternating current in defiance of Thomas Edison and his investors, all the way through the projection of pictures through the air and the wireless transmission of electricity, have been borne out. I come to everyone here today with as equal a supply of conviction with regard to Gann, because much of what he said was what my mom would refer to as cuckoo. It was her way of saying crazy, crazy cuckoo. And in the early part of the previous century, Gann gave an interview. And there's something very interesting about that interview that I wanted to highlight for each of you right now and show you an example that will hopefully lend credibility to what I'm going to show you. That was interesting. What I'm going to show you here today. It appears Mr. Gann has developed an entirely new idea as to the principles governing stock market movements. He bases his operations upon certain natural laws which, though existing since the world began, have only in recent years been subjected to the will of man. What the heckity heck does all of that mean, Ian? What does any of that mean? Well, I'm going to show you. The key that I want you to tap into, that's going to unlock everything for us today, is this idea of natural law. Natural law is derived from the idea, I'm going to rephrase it, laws of nature. Ian, can I grammatically replace the words natural laws with laws of nature and not sacrifice any meaning? Is that a more modern way to express his thought? He bases his operations upon certain laws of nature, which, having existed since the beginning of the world, have only recently been understood in terms of how they affect market movements. Gann understands that the laws of nature profoundly impact how markets move and behave. Now, How would we know if his theory held any kind of water? Ian, how would we know if this guy deserves a place on the podium with the likes of Einstein and Nikola Tesla? I'm going to show you an example that will hopefully help you understand that I know what I'm talking about, that I am a qualified practitioner in the art of time cycles, and I will give you the keys to imposing order intraday and on a daily or higher time frame on the markets you trade. I'm going to show you how we can, with the aid of modern technology, predictive algorithms tied to powerful platforms and PCs, understand where the market you trade is going next with a higher degree of accuracy than a coin toss. And some of you lose far more often than you win. How many of you have been tracking Bitcoin in the news? It's up, it's down, you better get some, you better not get some. Elon Musk bought a crap ton of it. Michael Burry from The Big Short is selling it as hard as he can go. Institutional trading firms are buying it. Institutional trading firms are selling it. Your grandmother doesn't know what Bitcoin is. Your mother-in-law doesn't know what Bitcoin is. Your sister, who's younger than you, doesn't know what it is, but she's pretty sure it's destroying the climate of the earth. And it sounds to me, Lionel, like an insane market that we can never harness or impose order upon. Tim, would you agree with that statement? Donald, would you agree with that? Devinder, Chris, Bitcoin, if we try to predict where it's going to go, we may as well reach in a bucket half filled with Easter candy, half filled with scorpions, and see what happens first. We're going to get a chocolate bunny or a scorpion bite. 50-50. Who would agree with that? Yeah, Chris would say that was the case. Okay, now, wild, wild west, crazy market. Certain natural laws. Here's what he proposed 100+ years ago. I'm going to say it and then I'm going to show you. Bitcoin, whatever it is in the future, will be subject to the laws of nature, specifically vibration, and will, and though appearing chaotic, has inherent predictive order built into it. That's what Gann would say. This is a daily chart of Bitcoin futures. Question for the peanut gallery. Tess, what generally happens to the price of Bitcoin when we arrive at a day that has a large green dot under it? Anyone else want to answer? What direction does Bitcoin's price go the overwhelming majority of the time when we arrive at a big green dot day? You're asking stupid questions, Michael. My professor said those are rhetorical questions, and you're supposed to tell us it's a rhetorical question because we're not sure if you think we're that dumb and you need to ask us. Of course it's going up. And most of the time, where are the highs appearing? At the red dots. Rich, Would it benefit the world to know when the next green dot is coming and the red dot after that? Would that be something worth talking about in financial publications, on television, in forums? If we were able to somehow beforehand know when these dates were coming. If only there was some way to know in advance when these signals were coming. Does anyone know what these dots on my chart represent? Before I say it out loud and everyone looks at me like I'm silly. Does anyone want to take a guess? Yes, Bill got it. Tim got it. Nope. Graham got it. One more person, take a guess. Yep. You ready for this? Everywhere you see a large green dot is a full moon. Everywhere you see a large red dot is a new moon. Charles said, I was going to say it as a joke. Charles, does it sound as funny as you thought it did when you were saying it in your head? It's not really funny anymore, is it? People are like, whoa, 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 whoa. Wait, what? Stop. For real. For real. I can go on Google right now and I can type lunar phases 2021. And I can pull up a calendar. James, you see where it says May 26th, full moon? June 10th, new moon? Well, guess what? We can track that. Right? So let's go back and re-examine what our buddy said. Bitcoin, whatever it is in the future, will be subject to the laws of nature. And though appearing chaotic, has inherent predictive order built into it. Charles, does it stand the test of time? Does this stand the test of time? Do we get to call him a freaking genius? Yeah, of course we do. I'm going to do you one better, though. That's the E-mini S&P. Rich, what's going on here? What's going on? What's going on? I don't understand. The world is spinning right now, and I'm confused, and I don't understand what's happening. Is this guy crazy? Bill, how much does any of this have to do with the unemployment report? How much of any of this does this have to do with any report? It has no advance warning days, by the way, nothing. It has nothing to do with it. I'll show you one more cool thing. Can I show you one more cool thing before I teach you how our software works, Elijah? I want to build credibility with you because markets are predictive, which means in the upper right-hand corner, in 6 days, there's going to be another one of these. And Donald, what will the S&P probably do 6 days from now? Fill up with buyers. Now, someone usually says, hey, they did a study of this back in the 80s, and we found out that it doesn't have any effect whatsoever. No effect at all. So there, to which I respond, here. Before you completely dismiss it, open up your closed, biased, lagging indicator, crazy butt guru brain and look at the chart. Do you know how many people would be winning right now on a retail level if I could get this message out to them? Share this with your friends, your crazy crypto friends. Share it with them. I have a very small voice. If you have a friend at CNBC or one of these funky Bloomberg channels, please get me on so I can share this with the universe, because no one is listening to me right now. Now, I'm going to show you one other example of this that I've been following anyway. Using the two other phases. It's pretty crazy stuff, isn't it? I need to earn your trust. I'm going to earn your trust here today. Today, I'm going to earn your trust. Do not show that. Do not show this. Okay. Data series. 200 days. Data series. 100 days. Okay. How many of you trade options? Anybody? Trade options, follow Robinhood stuff, you trade stocks, you have a 401k, blah, 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 blah. This is Apple. This is Apple. Steve Jobs, iPhone, iPad, Apple TV. Everywhere you see, Bill, a little green dot on this chart is a moon that is half full. Rich, what does the price of Apple do most of the time on the half full moon days? Just look at it. Goes up more than half of the time, freakishly more. It's like the pivot. Everywhere you see a little red dot for the price of Apple is the third quarter phase, which is a half empty moon. Rich, it's a half empty moon or a waning moon. I think it's waning. Is it waning or waxing? Wax on, wax off. I never remember. Guess what's coming up in 11 days and 23 hours? What is going on this chart? Why doesn't anyone talk about this on TV? Why don't they teach this? I went to a conference and I gave a guy $10,000 and he showed me the Morningstar pattern and how to break out of consolidation and what a trend line is. This is the market telling us what it's about to do next. Telling us. And all I have to do is manage risk. And over here, that's the next buy point. And if I look at what happened at the predicted buy points, statistically speaking, a guy from 120 years ago, gave us the keys to trading profitably. So Rich, ready? I'm going to put a stop line right here. Watch it. What's the percentage over the last year for Apple? It's pretty high. Not too shabby. I'm showing you all this because he said something else that we built a tool for that automatically calculates what he knew in his head. He said time is the most important factor. How do we get the signals? William, study the past of the market you're trading. And when you do, you will be able to tell the future. The key to trading profitably is understanding the cycles of the past, identifying them, and projecting them forward into the future. Most of you are trading futures, but you should call what you're doing laggings. Charles, you're trading laggings. You're not trading futures. You should cancel your appointment, Charles, because this is important stuff. If it's a dentist appointment or something, tell Dr. Feinstein you're going to be there tomorrow. Hang in there with me. So we built a program. Charles left. Bye, Charles. I tried. We built you a tool and spent the last 15 years of our lives developing and perfecting it so that you can do this intraday, daily, weekly for your stocks, your options, your Forex trades, your intraday equities, and futures purchase and sales. I don't expect you to believe me. So the first thing I want to do, if you're here for the first time, can you do me a favor? If you are not a customer, can you please tell me what market you trade and what size trading bar you're using? So if you trade, for example, the NASDAQ futures on a 5-minute and a 15-minute time frame, or you trade the euro dollar on a 1 hour and a daily, can you please let me know so I'm not wasting your time if you're not a customer yet, and show you the markets that you're trading and how predictable they are. Donald, are you a customer yet? I thought you were. Hey, Elijah. Yep. So Donald, did you see the part where I put the word not in front? Hey, Elijah. All right, I'll repeat that. If you're not a customer. Elijah, what's EMA? Is EMA a stock? I'm not even sure. I only ever thought EMA was like an exponential moving average. EMRA? Is that the stock you look at, Elijah, Emera? A little help there. It's a futures market, EMA. I'm lost. What market? ES, micro ES. Oh, okay. I was having a nervous breakdown. I'm back. I was like, I thought I knew what all the markets were. I don't know what EMA is. Micro ES. Okay, cool. Donald, this is my program. Yes. All right. So Elijah, check it out. Chris, check it out. What I do every week, let me pull this out of the way. What I do every week, and Chris, I know you've been here before. I recognize your name. What I do every week is I publish for all our prospects a version. Donald, Brian's going to reach out to you. Is there a phone number he can contact you at to tell you what's up? Brian will let you know what's going on. You probably have an older version, maybe Flux. Cool. So Elijah, did you get this email where I said, hey, here's the predictions for the next 2 days? Chris, here are the predictions for the next 2 days. Okay, cool. So you're familiar with it. Excellent. So today's ES 3-minute chart, there it is. These are raw signals. These are not setups. They're raw signals. So what we've done with our code is we've harnessed what Gann told us to look for. He said, listen, once you start to get it, you're going to figure it out. Once you start to figure it out, you're going to be able to apply it. Things start to open up. So we took him at his word. And Elijah, we built a program that did exactly what he said to do. Study the past records of the markets you're analyzing, identify the cycles, and project them, Chris, project them into the future. So coming into this morning, we understood that the selling pressure times which had history that were relevant frequently over and over again lately were identified. Okay, so now with these times still fresh in your memory, I'm going to drag this chart back over on the screen and blow it up. This is all of the European market, Elijah, and all of the American market up until the close. So my first question, how did we do, generally speaking, in relation to what we saw a moment ago with the projections for lunar, crazy lunar stuff, right? Pretty good. So your eye is sort of naturally drawn to where the selling signals were supposed to do something. And in the Euro session, Elijah, we can see what happened at 427, 512, and 554. We can sort of see the more obvious highs at 718 and 754 leading up to the economic report this morning with lower than expected, expected is a funny word, unemployment. And Chris, Elijah, you see how it even slowed down at 9:12 for a while? 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, 21 minutes. Elijah, after that run up, it just stopped for nearly a half an hour. I'm going to leave that there because it did the same thing at 10:51. Now, Elijah, in a hard uptrend market, when it stops like that, what's happening internally in that consolidation? What are the buyers doing in those consolidation areas? Anybody? Profit taking, right. They're pausing. So Ryan, did we catch the profit taking pauses on those two moves? Yeah. There was a forest fire. We hit it with a garden hose for 20 minutes. It stopped spreading, and then it took off. We have an answer for that, and I'm going to show you in a second. Obviously, at 11:54, Elijah, that was predicted. And then 12:33, we have a push down coming into the last signal of lunch. All right, so let's just look at the US lunch session. We're up to the US lunch session where most people are trading. All right, a lot of people are done by that part of the day. That's the top side. On the bottom side, doing what Gann said to do, we paid attention to the patterns in the past that were supposed to be buying pressure. That's all we did, kind of like our full moons, but a little more complicated. See, these are buried in the data. They're buried in the time code of the markets. In human eyes, pencils, pens, paper, they're not really geared for this kind of heavy lifting. But Elijah, we start to notice that with a few exceptions, most of the buying pressure signals produced a move at the exact time within a bar of when we were expecting buying pressure to occur. Chris, would you agree with that statement, or am I full of what my 5-year-old daughter used to call cocky duty? Is it okay if I have the arrows, Elijah and Chris F, right here, or do you believe I have extended my believability? My credibility is in suspicion because I want you to see something that's real that's not. Would anyone say there should not be an arrow right there? I will take it off. Tell me. Speak now or forever hold your pieces. Okay. Nobody said anything. Here's where it gets really weird. Elijah, how long were those signals published? How long were these signals available to us? Since Tuesday. Huh. Huh. Okay. In the email, I specifically said that there was a method we would be applying to the signals. I'm going to blow this up so you can see it. And I'm doing this, again, because most vendors are slime balls and they use smoke and mirrors and empty promises to convince you to part with your hard-earned money. I want you to be profitable. I want you to take money back from the banks. And so I do it the hard way. We'll also be showing how the signals can be traded using one of these two entry rules. And I link to a YouTube video. The only thing that carries over from the YouTube video is our 120 period EMA. The first signal we'll measure profitability with is called the signal with trend. The second signal we'll measure with is called a puncture trade. I'll be using a maximum 1.5 ATR volatility stop. So Chris, you're very quiet. I can appreciate that. Chris F doesn't believe a word I say. And that's cool. My wife didn't for a while either. And then she married me because I don't lie. I hate lying. My father said, if you never lie, you never have to remember what you said. I was like, wow, that's a fortune cookie chunk of wisdom right there. And it's true. So when we come over to here, on my chart, you will see a 120 period exponential moving average on my chart. Now, Elijah, when it's moving down, it turns blue. I'm kind of a sci-fi nerd. I love future things. And when I built this tool, I was trying to emulate the colors. I'm going to ruin this for a lot of you. I was trying to emulate the colors from Tron Legacy, Elijah. That's why it looks this way. I didn't get very close, but I was closer than red and green. 120 period moving average. The stop is presently set to a 1.5 volatility ATR offset, which means the dot is 1.5 values of the average true range at the time of the signal away. 1.5 times the ATR away. So Elijah, check this out. I gave you the signals on Tuesday. I gave you the rules for the system, Chris F, on Tuesday. And all we have to do now is look at what took place. First signal. And this is standard here. We train people how to do this. Signal with trend. When the line is down, what color are we looking for? Buying or selling? When the moving average is down, what color are we looking for? Blue. 4:27 London time, Eastern time is 8:27 London time. On the close of the candle, we enter short. We exit by the next time when buyers are expected to come in. There's a net gain of $9 or $450 per contract. Elijah, the moving average is still down at 5:12 Eastern, 9:12 London time. We go short and we hold it until 5:39 Eastern. That's when the buyers are expected to take profits and come in. That is now a $7.75 move. At 5:54, things start to tighten up and we finish one tick higher than we started. So we lose $12.50. When you see that happening, Donald, when you see that we finish where we started, Brian, there's an implication that they're running out of steam. We got away with one tick. The next 606 signal rides all the way up into 639, biggest move so far. Buyers are starting to come in before the unemployment report. And now, Chris F., we have our first stop, our first violation of the blue line, -3. Now, advanced lesson for customers who own Warp already. The minute you see a trend signal violated by the market, it is a pre-trend reversal signal. It is warning us at this point, at that first stop out, there is no more juice left. The sellers are not selling when they're supposed to. Elijah, does that make sense? The time they were supposed to drive it down, they stood on the sidelines and let the buyers creep up a little bit more. Does that make sense? Okay, cool. We're below the moving average at 706. No entry. Next signal with trend at 742, leading up to the unemployment report. We're in here. We're out here for a loss, 5 ticks. The next signal is at 833 on the other side of the economic report. We enter at the close of the candle, and Chris F., I hold it until 912 for an $11 move. The next signal with trend is from 1024 until 1051. It is a $4 3/4 move. The next signal, this is a weird one. I don't know what you would have done, Chris or Elijah. You enter at the close of the candle. It goes up $12. And now, Elijah, it finishes right here. Oh my God. $9.75 in the green. So that's beginning of the London all the way to lunchtime US. Now there's some interesting things that take place here. Number one, I'm going to play a game with you called Fill in the Blank. Trading veterans all say, keep your losers blank and let your winners blank. What are the 2 words missing? Keep your losers small and let your winners run. So Elijah, Chris, if this method had legs, if what I'm teaching you is real, then we should see large winners and small losers. If in fact this is real, if it has the potential to alter your trading life. And so let's look at the win column. We have 9, 8. What's the other one? 11, 5, and 10. I'm rounding up, yes. Then the loss. 0.25, 3, and 1. I'll round up to the quarter. So Chris, Elijah, we have a problem. We have a really big problem. Everything I've told you in the marketing literature is true. Because at the end of the day, a trend trading system is supposed to be around 45 to 50% accurate. 45 is really good. 50, you're killing it. The profit factor should be around 1.25 to 1.75, maybe 2 if you're a rock star. We have 9 plus 8 plus 11 plus 5 plus 10 minus 0.25 minus 3 minus 1.25 times 0.9 for slippage and commission. That's a $34 day times $50 a contract is $1,700 per contract in the macro and $173, Elijah, in the micro, 1/10 of the normal. If we look at the profitability, you had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 winners, 1, 2, 3 losers. That's 8, which means 5 out of 8. I can't use a calculator. 5 divided by 8 is 62%. None of this should work. None of this should work. And Chris F., if I apply my times from the NQ to this morning, are we going to come out, Chris, with the same result? Do we see the same highs and lows coming in? It's the same. As I scroll back in time, Chris, it's the same. It's always the same game over and over again. There's yesterday morning in the NQ with the times that I gave everybody. It's the same. It never changes. Week after week, you all funnel into my webinar and I say the same thing. Chris, here are the times in crude today. From the London Open to the US close. Chris F., there's nothing random about CL. There's very little random about CL. Well, they're fighting in the Middle East. Yeah. And? Yeah. So? You think the banks don't have a handle? You think the energy companies don't have a clue about where they want oil to go? You think they leave any of that to chance? Do you think that's air you're breathing right now? Chris F., here's the daily chart for crude futures. Is it any different than our ES 3-minute signal? No. Time is the most important factor in determining market movements. And by studying the past records of the averages of individual stocks, of all the futures markets, of all the equities, all the Forex pairs, all of it, all the cryptocurrencies, you will be able to prove to your prospects, to your customers, in a webinar 120 years after I'm gone, that history does repeat, and that by knowing the past, you can tell the future. Here we are. I can't make electricity move through the air and charge something. In fact, I shocked myself on the water heater the other day when I was troubleshooting it. But I can promise you this, it's as easy as it looked. I didn't do anything crazy. Elijah, Chris, he left. Chris left. Everybody leaves that needs it the most. I never understood that. I come here every week, Brian. This is over 600 webinars. I've done this now. And the guy who tells me, hey, I trade crude, the NASDAQ, and the ES, are you using our tools? No. All right, here's a $1,700 day with 3 very small losers. I gotta go. I'll never understand it. I don't understand it. How many people here love to lose money? Is there anyone here who loves to lose money? I should ask that, Lauren, at the beginning of the webinar. Hey, Donald, Brian's going to contact you. You gave him his phone number. Give him a chance to call you. Because right now I see your questions, but it's something you guys can handle offline, right? Any questions about what I've shown you here today? When we started, I showed you that we could prove where markets were likely to go in the future using natural law. We applied these techniques to the most chaotic market that we could discern together. We took what most people would consider is a ridiculous technique, and we applied it to that market, and we found that we could impose order on chaos, that we had some sense of where this market was going and for how long. When most people, 95%, are losing their shirts. Kids in high school are losing their college funds right now. People have cashed out equity in their mortgage-free houses, and every time have lost it trading Bitcoin. There are people who watch Elon Musk on Saturday Night Live. Ready for this, Mamie? There are people who watch Elon Musk on Saturday Night Live, Tess, to know which way their investments are likely to go. 120 years ago, one of the wisest people ever in the trading realm said, markets are subject to the natural laws. If we impose them upon the markets, you will see that if we study the cycles and the records of the past, we will be able to prove that history does repeat, and that by knowing the past, you can tell the future. Can I share with you in the next 5 minutes what it takes to become a user and a customer with us? Is that okay? Existing customers, this is your warning. Okay, here's how you get it. It's pretty simple. Same procedure every week. I'm going to paste a link into your chat box. Product store. The program we're discussing is TachEON Warp. TachEON Warp is our flagship product. It works on futures, forex, crypto, equities, from minute bars up to daily and weekly bars for your buy and hold, no capital gains investments, all the way down to your intraday scalping. The method will work on tick bars, range bars, wrinkle bars, volume bars. You can apply it on as many markets as you have access and data feeds to on your NinjaTrader platform. NinjaTrader has API access for programs like TD Ameritrade, as well as Interactive Brokers. E-Trade, I believe, also will plug in, as well as Forex.com. So many of the popular platforms, if you have a multi-broker license with NinjaTrader, will plug in and allow you to use your data and trade through and see our signals. For those of you that are interested, we do have a 4.7 out of 5 Trustpilot rating. These are all actual verified customers, people you can talk to, people I can show you the receipts from if you needed to. We pay a lot of money every year to make sure Trustpilot validates and verifies each of these customers to make sure they are real. We do not post fake reviews. None of these people are me with a different pseudonym. They live in houses, they put their pants and skirts on every day, and they have taken the time to write a review. Once a review is written, I cannot change it. I cannot delete ones that I don't like. As proof, by the very first review ever left by anyone on our site, his name was Lars, and his first review was, "They have an interest in me," and he gave me 1 star. If I could take that review off, Donald, I would. I really would. These are reviews from real people that, if you're interested, I can put the link into your chat box. Let me know if it comes up. You can go there and read for yourself what people's experiences have been. To purchase the software, I'm going to put one more link into your GoToWebinar chat box. It's very easy to get started, and I'm going to tell you what's included in the next 120 seconds. First of all, in your chat box is the link at the very bottom of this page, which is sort of a micro webinar. You'll see that there's an orange Buy Now link, and if we click it, this annoying window pops up. If you like to see signals in a live training environment with markets moving, you can ask questions in real time in an interactive webinar environment with an expert who knows how the system and the program works. My company is comprised of me and my best friend. My best friend runs a training room 3 days a week that you can have access to and be a part of as long or as short as you want. When we go to the next page, we have the promise to make sure your stuff works. We have the promise to make sure that everything's going to run right. If you try to steal the code or you say really bad words to our support staff, though, we're probably going to have an issue. Over here, you're going to see one last page coming around the horn. Here's what's included with your software. You're going to get 2 computer licenses. You're going to get lifetime updates on this purchase. So if you purchase Warp, you're going to get lifetime updates on Warp. If you have another program like Flux or Prime, we do have upgrade programs available in place for our valued customers, and Brian can tell you more about that. So if you have Flux and you'd like to get Warp 2, we can move you up the chain. You just got to talk to Brian for more information about that. In addition to that, your new software comes with free installation. We'll log on to your computer and make sure that it's working okay. And it comes with free training, which is personalized and one-on-one. We'll set it up on your computer, go through all the charts and markets that you're trading, and make sure you have the best settings and parameters for the instruments that you're watching. There'll be some differences between Bitcoin and the NASDAQ, corn futures, and the euro dollar. We'll show you what those differences are and how to make those changes so you can see for yourself in real time how to optimize it. In addition to that, we have a free video training archive that you can access 24/7 forever and train at your own pace. You have some free time on the weekend and you want to brush up or advance your knowledge, you're welcome to go in there and participate, as well as today's promo code. The promo code takes $500 off and is the word WARPOFF. WARPOFF. WARPOFF, as I mentioned, takes $500 off the price of the software. And that locks you in to the lower price there. So in addition to that, you're going to get money off for having sit here and endured my craziness. Brian, do you want to say anything about your participation with us and how you might be able to help customers on the other side, or you just want me to let them know how to reach you right now? We have a pro staffer, no worries. His name is Brian, and his email is brian@backtothefuturetrading.com. Brian has used our software to qualify for no fewer than 4 funded accounts, which means he's passed the test of Top Step Traders Combine, UProfit, Lilu, as well as Earn to Trade, I think is the other one. If I misspoke, you can correct me. And you can reach him at brian@backtothefuturetrading.com. If you're an existing customer and you want some mentoring from him, he also is available on an hourly basis to kind of walk you through what he's using and the software settings and setups that have helped him advance his trading career with those live funded accounts. His telephone number, it's a Google number, 802-427-4123, is a really great place to connect as well. If you want to just kind of chat, let him know what you're thinking. He specializes in futures, E-mini, S&P, NASDAQ. He's looked at crude and the like, and so he will be able to answer your questions from a customer perspective. Brian paid for the program that you're looking at right here. He's gone through the crucible of training and usage and personalization, and he's a really great asset if you want sort of an independent third eye to bounce ideas off of and get a real world perspective. Honest as the day is long, dog lover, that should tell you everything you need to know. No cats in his house. If you have cats, I still love you, but come on already. Good golden retriever on a warm summer's night sitting next to you in the backyard. So that resource is available as well if you want to get a perspective of someone who's profitably using the software in a real-time, real-world environment. That's for you as well. So remember, as we finish up here, listen to your elders. Listen to your elders. They have important things to say. This dude, I'm impressed with. I have followed the breadcrumb trails he left behind for me. I've dedicated my life to this. I've done nothing every day for the last 15 years but study, perfect, and mechanize what I believe to be the processes that Gann had effectualized over a century ago. I didn't invent anything new. I simply tapped into what was already there to be discovered. We didn't invent gravity. I haven't invented sunshine, but I'm helping you understand how gravity and sunshine work and how you can apply it to your trading intraday or for investments or longer term options trades. Buy and hold, whatever you're into, you will be a better trader for having invested your time with us here today. I want to thank you all on behalf of the family here at Back to the Future Trading. We are a small American company. We are dedicated to the integrity of the code, to your experience and satisfaction with every interaction you have with us. It's been our pleasure and honor to speak with you and share what we've learned with you. I hope you take something away from this and use it today. If you're an existing customer, please share what you know on the forums and communiques you have with other traders. We are small but mighty, a little David and a Goliath of institutional traders, and we need your help to get the word out and spread the gospel of time signals to as many as will listen to us. That's all I got. Appreciate everybody. Graham, have a great night, great evening, great morning, wherever you're at. May the wind be at your back. May the sun shine down, glowing and warm upon your face. May the rough, cragged mountains lay low before you at your feet. May the low, deep, cold, dark valleys rise up into the sunshine and lay flat before you on your journey in your trading. We wish you peace, health, joy, prosperity in all that you do, and would consider it an honor to let us join your family of assets in your trading career. Take care, everyone. Have a great night. If you need to reach us, let us know. Brian at backtothefuturetrading.com. Have a good one, everyone. Bye-bye.